The life of a middle-aged man and three others who are critically injured. This will not be the first time a natural disaster of this sort will wreak havoc in Imo State, and I doubt that it will be the last. And for this reason, we've invited the acting head of National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, who is responsible for the Imo Abia Operations Office, to the studio. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. And also we will be joined by Mr. Quintus Oramalu, who is the Disaster Risk Reduction Officer of NEMA. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. I am Paul the Magician. Welcome to the People's Voice.
And I'm Zandas, Okeke. Good morning.
Yeah. So we are going to go right into the meat of the matter. You and your men were at Umwejem village in Obinze community to conduct an assessment of the humanitarian needs of the victims. Let's start with you sharing with us your findings when you got there and what has been done so far to ameliorate the sufferings of the victims.
Okay, first of all, I'm Mr. Chido Gondo, the acting head, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, our operations office covering Imo State and Abia State. As at the time the windstorm wreaked havoc in Obinze, we were informed by the state government and immediately we went to that place to conduct on-the-spot assessment. On getting there, we found out that many houses were razed down. Most of the people were affected. Some were taken to hospital. One Mr. Promise died on the spot. And it was so pathetic. We probably went around the neighboring communities to find out that it wasn't only in that area. Most of the houses, churches, schools, business premises, all were blown off. And we found out that most times these are caused by natural disasters. Windstorm is natural disaster. But we, the people, don't sometimes apply the measures put in place by the government, thereby contributing to the escalation of the disaster. What do I mean there? When natural disaster occurs, it is bound to affect many places. But when humans apply their own strategies, obey the regular prediction as we normally predict, follow the instructions, there's a tendency to reduce the damage that the natural disaster will cause.
Okay, so over 500 persons were reportedly displaced by this windstorm. A lot of houses, schools, businesses destroyed because of this natural disaster. We would like to have an update of what has been done, either by your office or the Imo State government.
Before we go straight to the update, let's understand, was there collaboration between the State Emergency Management Agency and NEMA? Any collaboration of sort?
Yes. You know, National Emergency Management Agency is a federal agency, and we have sister agency in the state that is called the State Emergency Management Agency. And currently we have the Office of the Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development, both the federal and the state in the state. So we collaborate with them. And actually, when this assessment was conducted, it was a joint assessment between the federal, which is the National Emergency Management Agency, the State Emergency Management Agency, the Office of the Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development, and some of the officers from the government house. In fact, the Deputy Governor was helping us, giving us some information because he was equally contacted, so he really helped us. And most times when we are conducting assessment, because of our synergy among all the stakeholders, we always go for assessment jointly. Okay. Because what Mr. A could not see, Mr. B can see it. So there has been collaboration among the stakeholders. And what I mean by stakeholders is National Emergency Management Agency, which is the coordinating agency of any type of emergency or disaster in the nation. We have the SEMA in the state. We have the fire, federal fire. We have the state fire. We have the civil defense. We have the Nigerian police. We have the Nigerian army. We have the Federal Road Safety Commission. We have some NGOs. We have Ministry of Health. We have Ministry of Environment. Name it. We have Ministry of Education. So we have the Capital Development Authority, OCD. So we always collaborate when we are having meetings from time to time. So, and we have a forum whereby if there's any disaster, any agency that get information first, put it on our platform, and all of us will move there. So the collaboration really helped us to attend to such a situation.
All right, I wanted update on the plight of the people that were affected by the recent windstorm in the Obize area.
Okay, on conducting the joint assessment, we were able to find out most of the things that were affected, people that were affected, some of the things that were damaged, and their current situation. And because we conducted that assessment with the state, I believe, are on top of it. With the federal, we have made our own case to the federal, and I know they will do the needful. You know, when such things happen, we conduct assessment, we write our report, and we send it to the appropriate authority.
What were the recommendations?
Come again?
The recommendations, what were they? After your assessment, what was recommended? You said you send your report so that government would come back and attend to the plight of the people.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. So what were the recommendations?
Based on our report, we asked them to do the needful. They have gone through our report, and I know they are going to do the needful.
The people are expectant, really. They're expectant that government will come to their aid and do something. If we cannot have something concrete that the people are looking forward to receiving, either from the stakeholders that you mentioned, which involves the Imo State government, or from NEMA, then one wonders if they would have to wait endlessly.
Okay. Considering the fact that they have been affected by this natural disaster, we from the federal have procedure on how we do things. And if you look at the definition of disaster, which says that it is only when it passes the coping capacity of the affected. So when disaster occurs, we look at the person that was affected, we look at his own coping capacity, we look at whether he or she or the society will be able to cope with using their own resources. If they cannot, then we look at the broader view, which is the state. Is it above the coping capacity of the state? If it is not above the coping capacity of the state, then the state should attend to it. But when it exceeds the coping capacity of the state, then the federal comes in. So we normally follow the procedure, the laid down rules, the principles, the agreement.
Yeah, but in this situation, a windstorm destroys buildings, making quite a number of people homeless.
Not just people, school owners.
But I'm even looking at, because school owners, they could say these kids should stay at home if there's a home somewhere. But a lot of them are homeless and, probably no roof over their heads, properties destroyed and all of that. Is that not conspicuous enough for NEMA to come in to their aid?
Good. Just as I said before, you will first ask, is it above the coping capacity of the state?
Well, most states...
Who determines that? Because obviously it's not the people. Who determines whether the situation has to be handled by the state or NEMA, a federal agency, would come in? Who determines?
Because we went on a joint assessment with the state.
Okay.
I believe the state is doing something about it. Because...
Which is under your supervision?
No, under the supervision of the governor.
Okay.
We are not to supervise the governor. He knows what has happened in the state. He knows whether he is capable or not to attend to it.
Okay.
It is when it passes his own coping capacity that he will not alert NEMA. They will not come in.
Okay, is the state government that alerts NEMA?
The state government can alert NEMA. Yes.
Okay.
And which they did.
Can communities or individuals also alert NEMA?
No, when such thing happen, there is procedure. You don't leave your local government, you don't leave your state and come to NEMA.
Oh, okay.
You pass the information to the community to local government to the state. Just like when we have natural disaster, this flood of 2012.
Yeah.
You know, when it exceeds the coping capacity of the state, they start calling the federal.
Okay.
Then the federal waging.
Let me take you back to 2019, where flood ravaged 15 communities in Ohajegbema and Oguta local government area council areas. That flood saw at least 200 homes submerged in water. Over 6,000 villagers were displaced from their farms, from their homes, and that, I mean, a lot of people will say this is largely beyond the state government. What role did NEMA play in that flood, and have those people been attended to?
Beautiful. Now, when you look at that scenario, you will see the large people that were affected, the houses that were affected, and immediately the state alerted NEMA. We sent our report, went for on-the-spot assessment with security agents and the other relevant stakeholders. We did assessment, found out that it was above their coping capacity. Then, because the state have alerted us, we wrote to the federal, and the federal graciously, through the National Emergency Management Agency, under our DG, approved relief materials, even building materials, for those people, and those things were brought and has been distributed to them.
Okay. We're still learning
All
about.
right, now let's speak to Mr. Oramalo, Disaster Risk Education Officer. Let's get an insight into what your office really does at NEMA.
Okay, thank you for having me on air. Disaster, as we all know, is not just about relief intervention. You have to nip it, first of all, on board. That's the essence of disaster risk reduction, so that the effect, the impact on people will be reduced. Now, the rainy season is fast approaching. What we normally do now is a lot of sensitization programs telling people rain is coming, do the necessary things you need to do, like the drainages. A lot of drainages are blocked. So now is the time for people to start clearing their drainages. Because once rain fall, definitely flood will find its way. So it's in no respect of anybody. It can enter homes. That's why we have excess flooding in urban centers when all these water channels are blocked. So the essence of that department, disaster risk reduction, is to more of sensitization program, proactive measures on how to attend to all these disasters before it happens. So basically, that's what disaster risk reduction
So as sensitization started for 2021.
Yes, of course, it has started. Last week we were at Omahia for the same. That was basically fire sensitization as well, because prior before the rain starts, there are incidences of fire disaster here and there in Omahia, Aba, and all that. So with collaboration with stakeholders in Omahia, Aba, so we organized this workshop to people, the same stakeholders, and then relevant organizations. They were part of that program. So it's more of fire sensitization. Those are the kind of things we do when it comes to disaster risk reduction. Then flood, through the NIME predictions of 2021, information has been sent on weather events, which constantly people should be briefed of such predictions, so that they know what the weather situation is for a particular day. By so doing, you get yourself equipped and then get prepared in case if there's any eventualities.
Yeah, last year, NEMA raised an alarm that some communities will be flooded. We're not certain if it's, that flood has happened or is going to happen, and what that alarm I think was sometime raised in August of last year, and that was towards the dry season. We're expecting rains now. Are we still expecting the flood? Are we doing something about it? What is the current position of NEMA with regards to that concern raised last year?
Okay, as we all know, due to climate change, things are not weather events are changing. You said August last year. If we are still conversant with what happened last year, we knew that the rain, most of the flooding came towards September, October.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So because of that, that's why there is prediction, there's information that is being passed across all the time. Because that's August we are talking about, the whole of Ohaji Ebema, as you know, last year we were affected as well. Because at that point, there's a lot of inflow from runoff, the water levels, the rivers have risen. So all those coastal states, coastal communities are seriously affected. So in that situation as well, NEMA goes into sensitization program. Farmers who farm on those coastal area, they have to do early planting so that they will harvest early. You get what I'm saying? So once you plant early, you have to harvest early. These are because of the climate change.
Yeah.
There's a paradigm shift now. It's no longer the usual harmattan we know that only comes end of November, December. You start witnessing harmattan. Last year there was nothing like that till January. So these are the changing.
Are there predictions for this year, especially for farmers? Are there predictions for this year?
Well, NIMET has always given out predictions at the beginning of every year, and as the year goes, if there are changing from the forecast, they still inform. They have for this year, the prediction has it that it will be normal rainfall for this year.
Okay.
But that notwithstanding, if changes arose, they will still pass the information across via the media.
All right.
Okay, we've been engaging the management of NEMA, that is the National Emergency Management Agency, the office responsible for the Imo and Abia states as far as management of natural disasters concerned. If you have questions, comments, and perhaps information you would like to share with the acting head and also the man in charge of
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
If you don't know the transfer news, you might tell your friends your team has the top striker.
What are you talking about?
If you tell your friends your team has the top striker, they might loudly disagree. If they loudly disagree, the whole viewing center might get involved. If the whole viewing center gets involved, you might lose the argument. If you lose the argument, you might kick the floor in frustration. Before things get out of hand, settle it with Google Search. Get the latest football news, live scores, transfers, probabilities, and so much more on your Google app.
Please, sir, how do I get to Retire Well Crescent?
It's easy. Just go straight on longitude 155. Take a 360-degree turn, then traverse on the trajectory. And bam, you enter the streets. You can't miss it.
At Stambik IBTC Pension Managers, we believe that preparing for the future should be easy. Email switch to pensionsolution@stambicibtc.com and let our experienced managers help you get started. Stambik IBTC Pension Managers, a member of Standard Bank Group.
Oh my ego not for you. Hello?
Casey baby, how far now? Shall you go free this Sunday? I want spoil person pikin.
Hey, which Sunday?
This one now.
I know day.
Sunday after I'm come.
Every Sunday, I no go free.
Wetin happen?
You mean say you don't know? New season of Nigerian Idol don land.
Yes, sir. Nigerian Idol don land. Better singing competition with talent wey sabi and plenty drama from the judges. Una go fit watch weekly shows from March 28th and every Sunday for Africa Magic Channel 2 by 7 p.m. sharp. So run, recharge your GoTV subscription on top my GoTV app or USSD *288# to enjoy yourself. Na Techno Mobile and Biggie Drinks bring on this season of Nigerian Idol. GoTV, love it.
Yes, I won it. Oh my gosh. Guys, since I joined BigBet, I've been cashing out steadily. You don't mean it. Look at you. Let me tell you, they offer bigger odds, 315% accumulator bonus, got one bonus, and you can even cash out anytime, whether in the shops or online. They also have the best virtual games and jackpots. You see, they even pay winnings instantly. Guy, choose bigger rewards. Visit www.biggiebet.com to claim your 120% welcome bonus now. BigGieBet, bigger reward, bigger life.
The BBC News World Service app makes listening to your favorite programs on your phone even easier. And for times when you can't use Wi-Fi or data to listen, Just hit the call to listen button in the middle of the screen.
This is the BBC World Service.
Call to listen is only available in selected territories. For dial-up news services, standard geographic mobile charges will apply. Please check with your provider for exact cost before calling. Download the BBC News World Service app from your usual store.
Please, sir, how do I get to Retire Well Crescent?
It's easy. Just go straight on longitude 155. Take a 360-degree turn. Then traverse on the trajectory. And bam, you enter the streets. You can't miss it.
At Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, we believe that preparing for the future should be easy. Email switch to pensionsolution@stanbicibtc.com and let our experienced managers help you get started. Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, a member of Standard Bank Group.
One expert don't land with big ogbonge odds and sharp cash out method. You will like sports. This now your big opportunity to make better money on top all your bets. We be bigger roof. My Naija people, I beg, make una no sleep on this one. Make you rush now. Go visit our website on oneexpert.ng. Don't forget to use the promo code BETNG and you go get 200% bonus on your first deposit. One expert, bet wey dey for everybody.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Luxury building and accessories. Original Tyson. International coated roof tiles.
Oh, the Luxury Building and Accessories Limited. Embrula Patano Bodanio. Italian chip coated roof tiles. Bambam Italian roof tiles. It's a Kuchenulo. Oh, Kajara. Asuna di Boroja on Kenele Casina Mirina Mumaya. We also can Italian stone coated roof tiles. Get the Luxury Building and Accessories Limited name with Tarani. Oh, they are not getting up. Galaxy roof tiles. Get a luxury roof tiles by Feru. Oh, we have a banking tiles. Oh, when it's Marapuriche. Oh, the fake Nulo. Oh, the Yanaro. Oh, Quakaya Walimuya. Oh, the Hegatapuya. Oh, Parakonga. Bakaya. Oh, no Gamu. Oh, no Kemino. Okay, the Karo to 2%. How are you not shingle? Bond, Classic, Shake, Roman, Milano, Tiza, Slate. Containing just on the teacher. Coloyadi Gataria Tario. Equenti 070-40-333-333. Katara. Italian stone chip coated roof tiles.
If you know Sabi transfer news, you fit tell your party say na your team get correct top striker.
What are you talking about?
If you tell your party say na your team get correct top striker, they fit shout they follow you argue.
No way.
If they shout they follow you argue, everybody for viewing center fit shook mouth for the matter. If they shook mouth for the matter, you fit fall your hand for the matter. If you fall your hand for the matter, you fit kick better with the vex. Abeg, before you enter yawa, settle the matter with Google search. Get the latest football news, live scores, transfers, probabilities, and anything wey concern football with your Google app.
Right, sitting to 107.3 Darling FM, we have the officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, here in the studio. The acting head, Imo Abia state officers, and the disaster risk reduction officer, Mr. Quintus, are both here taking your we're about to open the phone line so you can ask your questions with regards to natural disasters. All right, if you are just tuning in, we've talked about the disaster that happened in Umuejem community in the Obinze area, and the fact that an on-hand assessment of the destruction done by the Joint Task Force had taken place, and the people that are desirous of information from the government with regards to what the response will be. And also, we are learning from the officers here how to prevent natural disasters. So this is the scope of our conversation this morning. For you who's just tuning in, feel free to call 0815-050-1073. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Charles from World Bank.
Charles from World Bank. All right, go on.
What really happened is flooding. Is it flooding?
So it's a windstorm that destroyed properties and rendered a lot of villagers there homeless.
Okay. Let me continue with that. See, people should, why I sympathize with the thing, I also want to say that, in school, secondary school, social studies and agriculture, they taught us that plant trees around your house, but don't allow the trees to overgrow. The essence of this is, when you plant the trees, it serves as a wind break, and they shield the distance from taking the roof of your house off. So I think the NIMA has more on education, enlightening people on how to plant trees around their homes and not to allow it to overgrow, and issues of drainages and all those things. So NIMA has a lot of work to do regarding this. Let me not take other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right. Precaution is what our first caller is calling for, which we're still going to talk about some of the basic things Imolites can do to prevent natural disaster. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
The name of where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Moshe Chigwedoji.
Okay.
From Edinburgh, Scotland.
Go on, Mr.
I want to bring the attention of the NEMA officer that is there in regards to federal housing estate everywhere. Over the years, we've always been complaining about flooding, which the state government didn't do anything. And the one that happened was it in 2017. The flooding happened there in 2017. We tried as much as possible to reach out to NEMA, but nothing came. People lost properties. The rain that fell yesterday, as I speak to you, you can come for an on-the-spot assessment. There's a primary school within the estate there. The playground, there's some water that speaks to you now. And there's some useless, abandoned useless there that have water in it. This is just one out of the many ways we're going to be experiencing this year. Don't work is ongoing around the Tiger Street, Chukwumawaha, but it seems the outlet where water should be actually delivering the estate, the estate hasn't really been formed.
All right.
What do we do?
Okay. Is it the responsibility? Is it your office responsibility to attend to houses that are submerged in flood? Because he's drawing your attention to some areas in Imo State.
Federal housing
the
estate.
federal housing. He mentioned Chukwumawaha, some other parts of Owerri.
Okay, I know the area very well. I know the area he's talking about. 2007, 2018, 2017, a flood messed that place up. Most of the houses were submerged. In fact, I was there. I was there with our team to rescue some people that would have been drowned inside their own houses.
Wow.
Now, after the assessment, on NEMA part, we brought relief materials to them. But on the second part, we started disturbing the state government concerning the instant flooding that occurred in that particular area. There was a time during Udenwa, we went there. That was when we had our office in Enugu. We came from Enugu and we went to that particular area. Okay. Then during Okeke, we equally went there. During Rochas, we went there with the governor. There was a house that was built on a flood channel. So we recommended that the house be removed. I presume they must have removed it now. So during Hope, we went there with even the OCDA, with the Minister of Environment, and all other relevant stakeholders to look at the place. And after our assessment, we recommended to the government that they should find a way to move that water out by creating a channel. And if you go there today, I personally pass there every time. You can see that the governor of the state, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has built an underground channel that is taking that water to Otamiri. It is because of our pressure. Because this thing happened when we are equally covering Anambra State. The same thing happened in Onitsha main market. We recommended to the government to remove a particular building. They did it, and that place is free. So we did it here. The person saying this, if he goes there now, he will see that there is an underground channel built by this company, Leonine, under the instruction of the governor. And that water has been channeled out. And this construction is still going on there.
So residents of the federal housing estates are no longer going to experience.
No, they're no longer going to experience flooding anymore.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, it's Moshe. I called back. Actually, I live in federal housing estate.
Okay.
No doubt. I mentioned the construction you talked about. Those places haven't been open because work is still ongoing.
Okay.
And like I said, you can come for an on-the-spot assessment as I speak to you. The primary school there, the playground is actually filled with water. As the time it was raining yesterday, I had to come up with something to actually check the flow of water. Even though it wasn't really entering my premises because of, I had to do some embankment to actually stop water from actually using the road to come into my place. But what of the other people that normally have the flooding issues over and over again?
Okay.
So it's not about maybe, yes, like I said, those stuff are ongoing, but if it's not been open, water cannot really leave the estate.
Okay. So that's update to the fact that work is ongoing.
Is it talking about the Unity School?
He said a primary school.
That's the Unity School.
Okay.
Yes, work is ongoing. There's some places that have not been opened.
Okay.
Right now, because of the construction that is still going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's the people's voice, and if you don't share some of these concerns with the authorities in charge, they may not know.
Now,
okay. After this call.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Okay, this person's talking, but we can't hear. All right, go ahead.
All right. I wanted to ask a question. Probably you could enlighten us on this. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Your name or where you calling from? It's a faulty network there.
All right. I want to know the process of probably a community and area, getting either SEMA's attention to their plight when it comes to flooding or some natural disaster.
Okay. Normally, when a disaster occurs, it occurs in a particular place, and it might be a community, it might be a local government. And when it occurs, the people that are affected are supposed to call the state or even the local government where the thing happened, and the state is supposed to alert us.
When you say the state, what office?
The State Emergency Management Agency.
Okay.
And now the Office of the Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development. Or they can call any relevant stakeholder like civil defense. You can call the police. You can call the military. Immediately you call any of them, they will alert us. So it's not particularly the State Emergency Management. You just call any of those relevant stakeholders, response agencies. They will alert us.
Does NEMA take charge of erosion? Because there are some communities in Owerri where houses are almost being submerged due to erosion menace in their area, on their streets. We have a colleague that's, somewhere along the Olu Road. Sorry, Olu Road. One community there, people are already.
Trinity side.
Yes, yes. Is that part of your mandate?
Okay. When you talk about disaster is disaster.
Okay.
And the National Emergency Management Agency, under the leadership of Air Vice Marshal Mohammed retired, is the coordinating agency of any type of emergency in Nigeria. So when anything poses risk to human life, properties, government facilities, it is the mandate of NEMA to connect other relevant agencies to attend to it. And when attending to it, we have lead agencies that will be in forefront while we coordinate. When we want to talk about the erosion now, we have the new map. New map is supposed to be in charge of erosion in the state. But that does not mean that NEMA will not go there to see it. That does not mean that NEMA will not call Minister of Environment. We will call Minister of Environment, we will call new map, we will call, if it is an erosion that is approaching towards school, we will call Minister of Education. If it is an erosion that is encroaching into other places, we call the relevant state, or road, we call Minister of Works. Every Minister of Housing, we call them so that they can come and see. All of us will go back to the round table and discuss it. And when we are doing that, we don't leave Minister of Health behind, because most of these things will always pose risk in terms of outbreak of diseases when it occurs. You know, when you expose people, when people are vulnerable, they are bound to contact one element or the other. So that's why we work in synergy with all of them to make sure that everybody come to the round table.
Doesn't this pose a bottleneck of sorts, you know, with the bureaucracy in governance? Is it not doesn't it pose time delay?
Okay, I know in Nigeria, one of the challenges we have in attending to issues is government will. That's willpower of the government. But I can tell you that the present government of the day, both in the state and federal, I think they are trying. From our own observation, they are trying all aspects of it. Because if the state government did not come to do work in that area, that place would have been worse than what we're talking now. If the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not give approval to some other things, we'll be having some challenges. Our current DG, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed retired, is doing everything possible to make sure that human suffering reduces in this country. As I'm talking to you now, in all states of the Federation, there are work here and there by all our officers, making sure that anything that poses danger is reduced, and those that are already at risk are being attended to.
All right.
As I'm talking to you now.
Okay, let's take more calls. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Your name? You're welcome. Chibundu, go on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. What? Okay.
You agree with me that NEMA does not have any specific role to play in terms of disaster management, because it its responsibility to other agencies, civil defense, legal, and others. What is the role of NEMA? If NEMA can declare responsibility issues of this nature. My suggestion is that if NEMA does not have any specific role to play, it should be resolved so that we know, or the public will know that NEMA does not exist here, it was already in Nigeria. Let it be resolved so that that one used to pay salaries to people who are not productive or people who are not employed, be channeled to other productive measures. Thank you.
All right, so the first question is your office and those in charge that can be reached, a functional phone number in case there's a disaster waiting to happen. And the second one is your track record of what NEMA has done for the Imo people before now. Is it just advisory to other agency, or can we itemize some of the work done by NEMA?
Okay. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, or Operations Office, right now is at number 10 Obinna Opera Crescent, near Owerri, as a chief executive's quarters in New Owerri. And the management there is I, Mr. Chidi Ogundu, the acting head of NEMA, covering Imo State and Abia State. Now, secondly, he was asking what NEMA has done.
Do you have a functional phone number that...
yes, we have.
Yes.
You can take it 080.
Go ahead.
367 51 222.
One more time.
080 367 51 222. Mr. Chidi Ogundu, the acting head, NEMA, our operations office.
All right, go on.
Good. Now, over the years, NEMA has been coming to Imo State from federal, that's from Abuja. At the time, we opened zonal offices, and the zonal office for Southeast Zone is in Enugu, that was covering the 5 states. Now, later, the management now thought it wise to bring it down in order to attend to these emergencies. So they had to create an operation office, which in Southeast it is NEMA, our operations office, covering Imo State and Abia State. While the zone at Enugu is now covering Anambra, Enugu, and Ebonyi, just to make sure that it comes down. And from time to time, we've been coming. The person asking that, let me remind him that when we had 2012 flood, NEMA was here, and they attended to all the displaced people. We opened an internal displaced camp, IDP, internal displaced persons camp, towards Ohaji and Ebema. It is located in Ezi also. Then we attended to all the people that were affected that time. We brought relief materials, both food items, non-food items, and building materials that was given to these people. And this thing I want to millions and millions of naira. From that time, NEMA has been attending to every major issue concerning disaster in the state. Several times we've gone to Oguta, we have gone to Ohaji Ebema to give relief materials, and that is after assessment. We give them relief materials to cushion the effect of the disaster. This year, we went to Obo local government to give them relief materials because of the flood that occurred near that Malaysian market and some communities in that market is located in Omongwa community. We went to Amanze community, Amanze Nobo. We went to Alopo Mosh in Avoto community. We went to, that is Obo now. We went to Ihituboma. We went to Umezewu, all those places to give them relief materials. We equally went to Isiala Mbano, Ehime Mbano, Okigwe, Onimo to give them relief materials.
What kind of materials?
We give them food items, non-food items, and building materials. Now, we went to Ikedru to give them relief materials. We went to Uguta to give them relief materials. We went to Ohajeboma to give them relief materials.
What were the issues in these communities? Flooding?
Most of them were flooding, most of them were windstorm.
Oh, okay.
And we went to Okigwe also. Recently, we have conducted a lot of assessment and we have sent a report to Abuja. There was a fire disaster in Okigwe over the last 2 months. Yeah?
Yes.
I sent my team there. They went there, they conducted assessment. We have sent the report to Abuja. This windstorm that happened in Obinze, we have already sent our report to Abuja. This, what do they call it? Prison break that happened recently, we have sent our report to Abuja. All these pockets of disasters that occur here and there, we'll make sure that the appropriate authority gets the information.
Okay. Is the prison break with part of NEMA's mandate?
No, NEMA's mandate is to look at wherever disaster has occurred, look at it and send a report. It's not within our NEMA.
Okay.
But because it concerns destruction of property, we have to look at it.
Okay. All right. Let's take another call quickly. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
small share again. I listened eagerly to the places, they were able to send relief materials. In 2017, I was affected. 2019, the same thing, to the extent that the reporter from your station had to come cover it. I lost everything. And it seems probably they are more interested in maybe reaching out to people in the rural areas more than those in the urban areas, because most of us, not just me, most of the people in the flood affected areas started housing, lost properties. Let's not even begin to calculate how much. 2019. So I actually know, I have a first-hand information, and I'm sure of what I'm actually talking about, because I don't really think to solve.
Okay, you didn't get any relief material. That's what
I didn't.
Okay, all right. So, not everyone is captured. What's the criteria for determining who gets relief material and who doesn't?
Now, I like what he said. Most times they are the cause of the problem. When disaster occurs and we go for assessment, we will ask them to give us their names and numbers. Some will be scared. They won't like to release it. Currently, this windstorm that happened in Obinze, when we were begging the man, give us the list of the people that were affected. They were afraid to give us the name.
Why?
I don't know. Now, if people give us their names and their numbers, and we send it to Abuja, when something comes, we give it to the people that they submitted their names. Now, the people that didn't submit their names will not start crying they didn't give them, but they were affected. Why didn't you give your name that time?
I'm sure they would have shared their fears about why they could not.
No. You know what is happening in the country nowadays?
Okay.
A lot of people are always skeptical when you're asking for their names and numbers.
Yes.
Personal information.
Personal information.
Give out their personal information.
So that is the issue.
Okay. All right. We are due for another commercial break. When we return, we'll take a few more calls that tend to comment on the Facebook.
Not much.
Okay. And then we'll conclude with the team from a National Emergency Management Agency. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The People's Radio.
107.3 Darling FM.
The People's Radio.
If you don't know the transfer news, you might tell your friends your team has the top striker.
What are you talking about?
If you tell your friends your team has the top striker, they might loudly disagree. If they loudly disagree, the whole viewing center might get involved. If the whole viewing center gets involved, you might lose the argument. If you lose the argument, you might kick the floor in frustration. Before things get out of hand, settle it with Google search. Get the latest football news, live scores, transfers, probabilities, and so much more on your Google app.
Make your life better with BBC News Pidgin. To get better for this world, you suppose know wetin dey. Make better tori ginger you from your domot to the whole world. Because when you see every for the world, anything dey possible. Make your life better. Search for BBC News Pidgin.
Good morning, my neighbors. How are you doing?
Who be that one for this early moment now?
James, it is I, Johnny.
I beg, I no get money to borrow you again.
Be calming down. No need for that because I found more ways to make millions this season.
Johnny, my friend, yarn me better.
Forget to, I don't get extra packet from Bet King. Wey be say if I chop one, it go be like say I don't chop 10.
That's right. You can max out your winnings on Bet King with boosted odds and multiple bonus.
My friend, this is where you differentiate the king from the crowd. Just visit betking.com on any device and see for yourself.
Bet King, playground for kings.
Expressions without words won't have it any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom you will find. That's what's celebrating. Bring your moment to life. Find the satisfaction in the nourishing trend and sparkling. Celebrate a little ways, making big differences in the nourishing trend and sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants, Valletta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment. Another premium product from Intercontinental Distillers Limited.
Please, sir, how do I get to Retire Well Crescent?
It's easy. Just go straight on longitude 155. Take a 360-degree turn, then traverse on the trajectory. And bam, you enter the streets. You can't miss it.
At Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, we believe that preparing for the future should be easy. Email switch to pensionsolution@stanbicibtc.com and let our experienced managers help you get started. Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, a member of Standard Bank Group.
Luxury building and accessories. Original Tyson. Italian stone coated roof tiles.
Oh, the luxury building and accessories limited. Ebrula Patano Bodanyo. Italian chip coated roof tiles. Bambam Italian roof tiles. It's a kuchenulo. Oh, Kajara. Asuna di Boroja on Kenele Casina Mirina Mumaya. We also Kisuru Italian stone coated roof tiles. Get the luxury building and accessories limited name with Taranye. Oh, they are not getting up. Galaxy roof tiles. Get a luxury roof tiles by Feru. Oh, we have a bankedina tiles. Oh, when it's Marapuriche. Oh, the fake Uyanulo. Oh, the Yanaro. Oh, Quakaya Walimuya. Oh, the Hegatapuya. Oh, Parakonga. Kegabuli Bakaya. Oh, no Kamu. Oh, no Kemirinoyi. Okay, the Karo to Opesiri. How are you not shingle? Bond. Classic. Shake. Roman. Milano. Visa. Slate. Containing just on the chiche. Koloyadi Gataria Tario. Equenti. 070-40-333-333. Katara. Italian stone chip coated roof tiles.
Good P Marketing Company Nigeria Limited. Anyị bụ ide n'ịtụbata ụdịrị taịlụ ọbụla. Bịa kpọtụrụ anyị taa maka ụdịrị taịlụ ndị ahụ mere na mba Italy. Ndị dịka Italian Bricks, Italian Wall, Italian Grace nakwa Non-Grace Tile. Isi ụlọ ọrụ anyị dị na Thailand Mall, Shop 4C nke dị n'ahịa Woshinaze, Owerri, Imo State. Ị ga-enwetakwa anyị na ngalaba ụlọ ọrụ anyị ndị nọ na Shop 116, Shop 280, Shop 281 nakwa Shop 287 Ngọkpala Line maọbụ gaa pịa anyị n'igwe n'akara ekwentị ndị a 0704-742-2812 maọbụ 0813-930-4185 maọbụkwanụ 0806-457-4034. Anyị na-ere n'ọnụ ego dị ala. Good P Marketing Company Nigeria Limited, odogwu n'ihe banyere Italian tile.
ShopRite's baby promotion is now on, where you save even more on everything your baby needs. Buy any 2 Huggies disposable pants at 5,999 naira 99 kobo, or buy any 2 Molfix baby pants at 7,999 naira 99 kobo. All prices valid till the 9th of May 2021.
For lower prices you can trust always.
Okay, this is the last lap of today's edition of The People's Voice, and the acting head of NEMA, Chidi Ogundu, is still with us, and we also have Mr. Quintus Oramalu. All right, quickly, we'll take 2 more calls, and then we get concluding statements from our guests in the studio.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I take exception. This is Moshe. I take exception to the response the NEMA gave them.
Moshe, we are only going to accommodate 2 calls from people who have not had the opportunity to share their concerns with NEMA. All right, so thank you for bearing with us. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, we can hear you.
Thank you, my brother. Yes.
You say your name is what?
Bless you too. My name is Collins.
Hello.
Collins, I'm calling from Transemu.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
My name is Collins.
All right, go on, Collins.
Yes, I'm very lucky. I know that the grace of God, as a lucky man, you want this road for us. We finish it for us.
What exactly is the issue?
The road is exactly out the street by the tiger.
Okay.
Please, that road has been finished, already finished. It's just to, quota it, and so that we will continue to make use of it. Please, if people are trying too much, more blame to your elbow.
Okay.
Please try to help us, please.
All right, no problem. Thank you. We don't. It's for you just tuning in. It's not Ministry of Works in the studio. What we have is the management of National Emergency Management Agency. Yes, and they're taking your concerns with regards to natural disaster, how to prevent it. All right, so one more call is all we have left.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, my good friends in the studio. My name is Man Chidu Ubaga. I usually come from New Jesus in the state. Well, Nema, I think Nema has not been living up to their expectations as far as their avowed responsibilities are concerned. For instance, if you look around the state, you discover that there are some ecological problems, especially within the Dato nation area. We are talking about the Dato North and the Dato South. There are very big erosion and the gullies created here and there. And the thing has remained unattended to for a very long time now. So one wonders what actually them is doing. I want to use this opportunity to, inform them that you see the people of that area, if nothing is done, particularly within the headquarters of that local government, who are to be specific, if nothing seriously is done, definitely we will be worse for it at the end of the day. Right. So I implore you to visit the office, to visit this area and see what you can do and save us from the menace of erosion problem. Thank you very much.
All right, let's get your response.
Yeah, before we get their response, let's quickly take this one. Peter Uche says, for the road at Chukwumanwoha, they should widen the gutters along the road. Secondly, they should eradicate any house that obstructs the flood from moving effectively. He went on for, okay, that was he sent it twice.
Okay. All right, so over to you now.
Okay, Mr. Jude Ubaja, I'm so happy you called, and it makes this session so interesting. I want to tell you that NEMA have been living up to their mandate. You know, disaster management is everybody's business. And we normally say if you see something, you say something. We can't be everywhere. It is only when you give us information that this is what is going on in this particular place that we will now send our team to go and attend to it. For example, the earlier person that mentioned about the Unity School that is flooded or something of that nature, he is just saying it on air. The information is supposed to get to us, and immediately the information gets to us, we will go there. Now, Mr. Ubaja is mentioning about that particular place that is about to probably cause harm. The information should go to us either through the SEMA or, as I've mentioned my NEMA, my number in the public. You call us immediately. You call us, send us tests. We will come.
Okay. All right. So call that number one more time because we have to conclude here.
The number is 080 367 51222. Mr. Chido Gundu, the acting head NEMA.
That's the emergency number to bring callers can use to bring information to you.
Yes.
To the office.
Yes.
All right. Any closing statement? If you can do that in 30 seconds, that would be great.
Let's probably start from Ramalu.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, listeners, once again. Disaster management, as we all know, is everybody's business. You should be conscious of our environment. Let your activities not affect your next door neighbor. Rainy season is here, so clear your drainages. Do not dump refuge in water channels so that there will be free flow of water. Okay. So that this season there won't be cases of flooding in any part of the state.
Thank you. And Mr. Chidi Ogundu.
Yes, just as my colleague have just said, whenever you see anything, you let us know. And make sure that you don't build in a floodplain so that we have free flow of water. And for those living in a flood-prone areas, please, we advise they should move to a safer ground, especially higher ground. You don't wait till flood comes. You try as much as possible to move away from it, so that it will not affect you negatively.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chidi Ogundu is the acting head of NEMA, which covers the office of Imo and Abia State. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
And Mr. Quintus Oramalu is the Disaster Risk Reduction Officer of NEMA. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right. I am Paul the Magician.
And I'm Zandas, Okeke Otiwa.
Stay tuned for the news headlines. Good morning.
It looks like